Aloha, Richard Halverson here, and this is ITS148. And I was looking over. Let me share my screen here. I was looking over. Okay, so I was doing some grading, and I realized that it doesn't look like I covered exercise 10-1. Why? Because only 2 people have handed in exercise 10-1. So I go back and I look at class vids, and I see that I cover assignment 17, which is 10-2. I cover 9- I don't cover 10-1, it appears. I looked at this video and it doesn't look like I talk about 10-1. So I think today I'm going to do exercise 10-1. Assignment 16. I haven't, it doesn't appear that I've done assignment 16 in class. So that's what I'm going to do today. So let's see, I will start up my, let's go see what it is. Assignment 16, 10-1. This should say 16 right here. It says 14, but it really should say 16. And we are doing 16, right? 16, 10-1. All right, this should say 16. Okay, so let's see what it is. And 10-1, convert lengths. Okay, so in this exercise, we'll add code to a form that converts the value the user enters based on the selected conversion type. So we've got these conversions: miles to kilometers, kilometers to miles, feet to meters, meters to feet, inches to centimeters, and centimeters to inches. And do I ask you to do one more thing? Oh, add yards conversion between feet and meters. All right, yards to feet, yards to meters, I guess. All right, so we'll do that. Okay, so how do we start out here? We open the length conversion project, length conversions directory. Okay, so that would be like resources, exercises 10, and it's this length conversions. And I zipped it up earlier here. Well, I took this one and zipped it up earlier, so let's start with that. I'm going to put it on the desktop. On the desktop. Here it is. So let's extract all. And let's open it up. Doesn't matter. And let's sign in. Make sure I'm recording. I am recording, and I am sharing. And it's going to ask me to sign in soon. Sign in. All right, here we are. Very good. Yes, that's me. Okay, so let's start it up. See where we are here. No, I don't want to do that. Conversion. I see. So There's nothing here to convert. Stick something there, click calculate it, and it converts. Okay, very good. So let's see what we got here. Let's. I'm going to make this a little slightly smaller. Put this over here. Get rid of this clown right here. Put this over here like this. And I'm going to open up the form. There we are. And I'm going to view some code. Got that there. That's nice. Okay, got a nice conversion table there. That's kind of clever. All right, and let's see what our assignment is. It's this. So I'm going to do something here. Let me just download this. Oh, let me open it up in Acrobat. And I'm going to pop this over here. I'm going to go down and look at exercise 10.1. Do that. 10.1, and it's this. And so let me make it smaller and go over here. Get rid of this. We'll put this over here. Get rid of this thing. And I can make it smaller. Whatever. Okay. All right. It says, open the length conversions project in the ITS148. I've done that. Display the code for the form. Notice the rectangular array whose rows contain the values to be displayed in the combo box. All right, that must be this here. We've got miles to kilometers, miles, kilometers, 1.6. Those are the conversions, huh? Kilometers to miles, that's the conversion. So if you take your miles and multiply it by multiply it by this number, you get kilometers. Okay, that's cute. So I need to do some, I need to add, all right, let's do that right now. I need to add, let's go back here. Let's see what do I got to do? I got to add feet. Assignments. I need to add yards and feet and meters. Okay. Yards to feet, feet to meters. Okay, let's try to put that in right now. Well, I've got meters to feet. I've got feet to meters. I need yards to meters and meters to yards. Okay, so let's do, I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to copy this here. I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to paste it right here. And I'm going to say yards to meters, no, yards, not yards. Yards to meters and meters to yards. And it's going to be yard, no, yards. Yeah, plural of feet is foot, is feet, meters, okay. Yards to meters and meters to yards. And what is the conversion of yards to meters? Well, we got to ask that question. It's a good question. Let's ask it. Conversion, let's get our fingers in the right keys. Conversion, yards to meters is 0.91. Okay, so I got to make sure I'm doing the right thing here. So let's try feet to meters and see if I get this number. Feet to meters, and I get that number. Great. Meters to feet. Meters to feet. And I get, oh, score. All right, so now I need yards to meters. Yards meters, and I get this number. I'm just going to copy this dude. Copy yards to meters is that numero. And I got to do meters to yards. Meters to yards. Yards. And that would be this number. I'm going to copy that number and put it here. Okay, so that's meters to yards. What else was I supposed to do now? What else? Yard between feet and meters. Yards conversion between feet and meters. Okay, yards to meters, meters to yards. I guess I got to do yards to feet and feet to yards, huh? I suppose. So let's make another copy. Copy. And I'm going to paste some dude right here. Paste it right here. Okay, let's fix this up. Tighten this up a little bit. Get rid of this thing. Now we got yards to meters. Okay, I want yards to feet, and I want feet to yards. So yards to feet, and feet. This is kind of easy, isn't it? Isn't it like yards to feet is like 0.33 or something? Let me see. Conversion of feet to yards. Oh, okay. Feet to yards is this. Feet to yards would be this. And how about yards to feet? Yards to feet would be 3. Ah, 3, okay. Feet to yards should be, oh, whoops. Yards to feet, oh, is 3. Yards to feet. Yards to feet. Right. Yeah, right. Good. Okay. Mile is, take that, take a mile, multiply that, you get kilometer. Mile is bigger than a kilometer. So you take miles and multiply this and get kilometers. Yards are bigger than feet, so you take yards, multiply this to get feet. Yeah, that's right. Okay, very good. Okay, so I've added our conversion there. Okay, so we've done this extra part here that I wanted to do here. Now all we got to do is continue with the assignment, which is here. Okay, so I've display the code for the form. Got it. Set the drop-down style property of the combo box so the user must select an item from the list. Set the drop-down style. Ah, gosh. Set the drop-down style. I don't know why it says drop-down style. Drop-down style in the property list. So you must select an item from the list. Oh, drop-down list. Okay, so I guess it's that. Now what? Add code to load the combo box with the first element of each row of the rectangular array. Okay. What does the code look like? Let's see. Let's look at my notes here. Conversion table length. CB. Oh, look at that. It looks like it's in the load handler. The load handler. To load the combo box, when the form is loaded, this is the clue. When the form is loaded, that means it's a load handler. So is there a load handler started here? There is not. So I need to click on here, and then I just double click out here somewhere. How about this right here? Double click, and now we've got the form 1 load handler. And I'm going to type something similar to for integer I equals 0 up to I, while I is less than conversion table dot get length 0 to there, semicolon I plus plus. And that's going to be, I can just go like this, I guess. CBO conversions items. We're loading up this list box here, this combo box. We're going to add to that conversion table I of 0. Close semicolon. And when we're done, CBO, we want to set CBO conversions dot selected index equal to 0. Okay, now that should load up CBO, this conversion table is right here, So, okay, so let's see if this, I'm just gonna click on start here to see what happens. Miles to kilometers, kilometers to miles, feet to meters, meters to feet, yards to feet, feet to yards, yards to meters, meters to yards, inches to centimeters. All right, they're all there. It's awesome. All right. Add code to change the labels for the text boxes. Clear, it's got to change the labels for the text boxes. It's got to clear the calculated length and move the focus to the entry text box when the user selects a different item from the combo box. Okay. When the user selects a different item from the combo box. Okay, so that would be, okay, the combo box is CBO conversions. That's this thing is called CBO conversions, right? CBO conversions. And when it changes, selected index changed. How do I do select? Do I like double click on this thing? Will that do it for me? Selected index changed. Yes, it does do it for me. Okay, so now it looks like I can just add the code in here. Okay, so change the labels for the text boxes. So first of all, I want to get what was selected. So I'm going to do int selected index. So new variable I'm declaring called selected index. This looks like the same as the property, but this is a label. I mean, this is a variable, and it's going to be equal to CBO conversions dot capital selected index. So that now I've got selected index, that what index was selected into this variable called selected index, and then I got to change these labels. What are these labels called? It's this label, which is called LBL from length, and this label, which is called LBL to length. All right, so here I want to say LBL from length dot text is equal to conversion table, and this is the, it's not the 0th one, it's the 1, a selected index, comma 1. Okay, so up here we've got This is selected index 0. This is selected index 1. No, I'm sorry. This is the, okay, the selected index is going to be either this one or 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 this one. Okay, selected index is going to choose whether it's this set or this set, but then within that, this is going to be index 0. It's going to be index 1, index 2, and index 3. Okay, so when we're talking about right here we're loading the zeros all the way up to the lengths. The zeros, and the zeros is this and this and this, and these are the zeros. These are the ones. These are the twos, and these are the threes. So that's why when we're over here and we see this thing here, it's the zeros that we see. It's these that we see. You recall that. All right. So the from length text is going to be the first one. LBL2 length text is going to be equal to the second one. Conversion table selected index, comma 2. Okay, that loads up those labels, and then we want to make this. This is the calculated one here. No, this is what we enter, and this is the calculated. So the enter is something the user types in, and the calculated is something that the program types in. And it's not the reason it's darker instead of this code, because the user can enter something in here, user cannot enter something in there. Anyway, and this one is called calculated length. Oh, this is actually a label. It's a label called calculated length, and this is a text box called text length. Okay. So we want to clear out the LBL calculated length. TEXT. We want to clear that bad boy out, so it's nothing. And then we want to put the focus back to this text box that the user enters in. Focus. Okay, so that's there. All right, that does that. So we did this. What's next? Test the application to be sure the conversions are displayed in the combo box. The first conversion is selected by default, and the labels change appropriately when a different conversion is selected. Okay, let's see if this works. Click on Start. Miles to kilometers. It says miles, kilometers. Let's change it to kilometers to miles. Ooh, kilometers, miles. How about we change it to feet to meters? Yes. Meters to feet. Oh, yeah. Yards to feet? Yep. Feet to yards? Yep. Yards to meters? Yep. Meters to yards? Inches to centimeters? Okay, great. Works great. Okay, what's next? Add code to calculate and display the converted length when the user clicks on the Calculate button. To calculate the length, you get the index for the selected conversion, then use that index to get the multiplier from the array. All right, so you get the index for the selected conversion, and then you got to get that 0, 1, 2, or 3. The 3 is the multiplier, and get that, and then you multiply the beginning this number by the multiplier, and you put that value into the lower one here. Okay, and you do that when somebody clicks the Calculate button. So I'm gonna exit this. Does it work? Oh yeah. Okay, so let's go back here, and I'm going to double click on the Calculate button, double click, and now we are into our event handler for when somebody double clicks on the Calculate button. And I'm going to go, first I got to check to see if the data is, do I have a valid? Is valid? Do I have an is valid around here? How do I? Do I got to write is valid? Is present, is decimal. Damn, I got to write invalid, huh? Oh, well. Okay, so if is valid data, of course it's not there. If that's true, then I want to do something. What do I want to do? I want to set the decimal. No. I want to no. I got to write is valid data first. I don't like having the squigglies. Okay, I'm sorry. I just don't like the squigglies. So I'm going to make a public Boolean variable. Boolean method is valid data. And what that's going to do is it's going to return the calculation of is present. Oh, that's there. Where's is present? Ooh, is present. Okay, this checks to make sure that that somebody typed something into the text box, and this makes sure that whatever was typed into the text box is a decimal, can be converted to a decimal number. Okay, that's all this does. So it tests for is present and it tests for is decimal. So is valid data has first got to test if it's present, and what we're checking is this dot text is valid data. Is this? Oh, it's this text box, right? Text length. That's if this text if the txt length text box on this form, for this form, we want to. That's the text box, and we want to. Why are we ask? Oh, we have a LBL from length. That just that's a label, so we know which field we're talking about. So we use that value there for that. So this has to be present, and also we want it to be decimal. So as decimal, this text length. That's what the text box is called, and LBL from length, and that's the label. That's a descriptor, a descriptive word for what that is. Okay, so all this does is it checks to see if this is true. In other words, somebody types something into the text box, and then we and that with if this is true, and what this is somebody typed in something into the text box that can be converted to a decimal number. This from length is simply going to display out what was put in there, miles. So like if we actually do this, and now it's miles to kilometers, and we put this here, calculate, it's going to say miles is a required field. Now look, let's change it to yards. Now it's going to say yards is a required field. If we should in fact change it to inches, inches is a required field. Okay, and if we put inches of blah, it's going to say inches must be a decimal number. All right, so we got that to work. Oh, we got to do more stuff. Oh, we aren't done. Never mind. Okay, so okay, for after we find out whether it's present. Oh, that's is validated. Okay, so now this works. Okay, so now if the data is valid, then we're going to need to let's get that decimal number that was typed in there. So I'm going to declare a new variable called length, and it's length value, And that's going to be equal to, I want to convert into decimal txt length dot text. And we know this will work because we've already checked to make sure that it is not only something there, but something that can be converted into a decimal number. So this is going to work. And then we want to find out which one is selected. We got to figure out which one of these is selected. And then after we figure out which one of these is selected, we got to get this 0, 1, 2, third, this third parameter there, that third element in that array. And so we are right here. So we are right here. Okay, so we've gotten the value that we need to convert, and now we need to figure out what the what array what the row is. So we're going to declare a new variable called integer variable called selected index again. Doesn't need to be called selected index. It can be called anything. It can be called SELIND, and that equals, that's going to equal CBO, whatever the conversion's selected index value is. This has got to be selected index because that's the name of that property. And now we need to figure out what this multiplier value is. We got to grab out this number, what the number is there. We got to grab that out. And so we're going to do, it's going to be a decimal number. And let's call it a multiplier, MLTPLR, multiplier. How's that for a nice variable name? And we gotta we're gonna get this conversion table to conversion. No, we gotta. It's gonna be the conversion table. Conversion table. Select of the selected index of SELIND, comma, and it's the third one. Okay. Now this isn't quite right yet because this is a text value. You know, what we could do is you could actually change all these, not so they weren't text values. You could actually remove the quotes and have these actually be numbers, but we're not going to do that. They're strings. This is a string value, and we want to convert it to decimal. So let's just put convert to decimal. Convert this to decimal. Hello, Rain.
Hello.
I'm doing. I'm making a video on assignment 16. I never made a video on assignment 16. That's exercise 10-1. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm making a video of assignment 16, which is exercise 10-1. This one here.
Okay.
All right. I realized I never made one before. So, okay, and I'm almost done. And I am recording, and I am sharing my screen. Okay, good. Okay, so I've figured out what the multiplier is. That is this number. I've grabbed out this number, and then what I got, and I've converted it into a decimal number. And then I need to I'm going to create a new number called calculated length. So basically, I take this length number and I multiply it by the multiplier, and so I'm going to call that decimal calculated length, and that's, I'm going to do lowercase. And that is equal to length times multiplier, I believe. And once we've got that calculated, then we can store that into right here. And this is a label called LBL calculated length. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to say LBL calculated length dot TEXT is equal to calculated length dot toString. And do I going to do any kind of thing? Oh, I guess I'm going to do N. And is it done? Oh, there's exception handler. Okay, well, I'm just, I think this might be done. Okay, so let's start it up. And miles to kilometers, so 1 mile equals 1.61 kilometers. Yeah, okay. 1 yards equals 3 feet. 1 kilometer equals 0.62 miles. Well, it's only 2 decimal places, well, whatever. Inches, 1 inch equals 2.54 centimeters. Oh, I think I knew that. Anyway, let's see, 5,200, no, yards. Can you do can't do feet to miles, huh? No feet to miles. Oh, well. 1.6 kilometers equals it's supposed to equal 1 mile. Well, anyway, close enough. All right, so that's it. That looks like it works. Add code to check the user's valid decimal value for length. Valid decimal value for length. Is there something more I'm missing? Is decimal. Yep, is decimal. We have is present. We've got is valid data. And we've got our conversion button calculate. ETN calculate and CBO conversions. All right, I think we're good. Okay, so so that's it. So I'll let you watch the video, but the only, and I just followed the instructions here, except for the one thing I did do is you're supposed to, see, this only includes miles, kilometers, feet, meters, inches, centimeters, and I wanted you to add yards to feet, and feet to yards, and yards to meters, and meters to yards. So all I did was I added these things in there, and then I looked them up. I looked them up here, like conversion from yards to feet. You know, yards to feet is 3. That's a 3 there. Conversion from yards to meters is 0.9144. So yards to meters are 0.91. So I added these 4 in there because you start out. All right. Tell you what, this is done. I'm going to save this, save all, and I'm going to close it. And it's this, so I'm going to change the name of this to assignment 16. And I'm going to upload it while I'm here. Oh, I got to zip it. All right, so now that I have it here, let me go back just to show the audience. So let me close this. And so this is what we started with, and we started with going to resources, and going to resources, and then going to ITS148 exercises, oops, and then going to chapter 10, and then downloading this length conversions. That's this, and that was downloaded to right here. And when we open this up, let's open this up again just to see. Let's extract all. Got a new one here, open this up. And we see that when we start up here, we start with something. We start up, it doesn't do anything, nothing there. And when we look at the code, we look at this looks the same, except for when we look at the code, we notice that, okay, so this is here already, but it's only the ones that are shown here. And this is where I said you add feet to yards, yards to feet, yards to meters, meters to yards. So you add those there. And then all you got to do is present is there, is decimal is there, but you gotta add the you have to add the double click on this thing. That is the CBO conversion selected index change. You got to add that in there, and you got to add a form handler. I'm going to double click out here. You add a form handler, and that loads up this. That loads this up. Loads this up, and then you have to also do the double click on this thing to start up a button calculate. So you got to fill that in. So you got to fill this in. You got to fill this in. You got to fill this in, and you also have to create a public bool is valid. Oops. So you have to create this thing, and this will be this will actually just be access this thing and access this thing. But anyway, so that's all you got to do, and it all shows up right here. If you actually look at this, we can look at this. We see, so we see I added these, and then is present was already there, is decimal was already there, this was already there. This is the load handler, and all this load handler does is load up this thing. It loads it up using this stuff up here, using the first one, and then this is the thing that actually, this CBO conversions, okay, when this thing changes to a different one, then it actually has got to change this and change that. It's got to change these two labels. So these labels are named. They're named from length, LBL from, and LBL to. And so when this thing changes, these little label things change. That's what this thing does. And then this does the calculation. It goes and figures out which one was selected, and then it's got to go and grab the third one for whichever one is selected. You know, it's either 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever it is. It grabs this number, and then that's what it uses to do the calculation. It grabs out this thing, multiplies it by the number, and stores the result in there. So anyway, that's it. That's pretty easy. So you should be able to take care of that. And let me just, I don't need to save any of this. So that's pretty much it for exercise 10-1, which was our assignment 16. And so, so I'm going to look through, we have one more class on Thursday, and I will look through again to see if there's any other exercises that I did not do in class, and I will try to do those on Thursday. All right. Any questions?
Nope.
Okay, so thank you for joining us, and I will see you Thursday.
All right. See you Thursday. Have a nice day.
You too. Thanks for watching.